Welcome to this week's astrology. And this week, we're kind of coming into a week where things are shifting, clearing, and purifying. And I say that because we've got Mercury stationing direct on Monday, and then we're going to have our first full moon post the eclipse season next Sunday. You can expect that there's still a bit of turbulence coming from eclipse season, but it's almost as if at the same time there's a sense that things are starting to ground, or at least make sense, or at least being given the ability to digest what's gone on. Almost as if there's a level of spaciousness that wasn't previously there. Now, today we have some beautiful aspects happening. We've got Venus trine Mars and the Sun sextile Jupiter. It's a really nice day to take stock of what it is that you are calling into your life. Like, what patterns are being repeated because Venus is still retrograde, and how your actions and what it is you're trying to attract, how they actually mirror one another, how you use these to get what you want in the world. And I want to touch upon that as like a deeper lesson in a second. The Sun sextile Jupiter is also beautiful as it gives us a sense of being able to zoom out, being able to even see what the bigger picture is, like what's the metaphysical, instead of getting bogged down in the detail of our lives or like the little things that might be annoying us. It's almost asking us, hey, just take a step back and see how those details that frustrate you and annoy you are actually creating something really special. Like I said, on Monday, tomorrow, Mercury will station direct and Venus will be conjunct Saturn. Venus conjunct Saturn is not the easiest, although they do love each other, Venus and Saturn. Um, Both incredible material teachers in their own right. But Mercury stationing direct, just know Sunday to Wednesday he'll be stationary. So he's kind of out of play in a way in the universe. So you might still be feeling the effects, actually, even more so of Mercury direct, just like electronics mucking up, miscommunication, people not understanding, and even like just not having the patience to explain stuff that you normally would, not wanting to deal with the detail. Things will start to clear up towards the end of the week. It can feel like things are progressing again and moving forward, even though Mercury is in Pisces where he's debilitated. So I'd be saying to you, as long as my Mercury's in Pisces, so definitely through this week, listen to intuition more than what the rational mind is saying, because the rational mind can be really confused in the water of Pisces. Now, Venus conjunct Saturn, both in Pisces, two incredible teachers that are going to peak uh, their relationship, their alignment together on Monday. And it's been building for some time. And it's like this energy of like the Lord of Karma and the Tantric teacher coming together. So we're really being called to learn through the material realm. And you can find that there's almost a restrictive energy on Monday. And this restriction can manifest in relationships, it can manifest with material possessions, it can also just manifest with a frustration around what's coming into your life. There can also be a seriousness to Venus that she doesn't normally have. And I'd be saying, like, it's the perfect time if you felt that there's someone you've got a bit of an issue with at the moment. If you felt that something's bubbling in your friendships, relationships, or even in the things that you own, something you're dissatisfied with, something that needs to be really spoken about and understood, not necessarily spoken about, more like addressed. This can be a time where that comes to a head. And one of the things that Venus and Saturn can teach us, and this is like a bigger lesson that can come through this week, is the nature of how transactional we can be in our relationships. You know, we often think about the fact, like, we might be like, I love someone so much, or that person loves me. Anytime we express love, desire, want, lust in an external way, guaranteed, there is always an exchange being made, even when it's subtle. And this is where this Pisces energy really helps us. We get to see the subconscious programming. So you might find that you agree to something, or you have agreed to something that someone else has asked you to do. And in the moment, it was like a yes. But actually, as you feel into it and sit with it, you realize that the reason you agreed to it was because you wanted them to like you. You wanted them to approve of you. Maybe you didn't want to feel lonely, or you didn't want to think that like you were a total reject. These are the stories we're looking at this week. And we're really getting to understand that true love is unconditional. But true love is not an outside game. True love is something that is only ever here, and it's not given. It simply is because it's your nature. So pay attention this week to where you're saying things like, I love you so much, or I really like our friendship, or I treasure whatever it is. Like, yes, be complimentary, but really listen to why. What is it that you might be searching for through that conversation, or what is it that someone else is searching for in you through that compliment? That is actually making it a transaction. Like I said, unconditional love looks very different to what we think. Because I think we grow up thinking like unconditional love would be someone loving me no matter what I do. Yes. But it's not necessarily the feeling of being validated continuously by that person. It's not having to look for another to tell you that you're perfect, that everything you're doing is great. That's still conditional. Unconditional love is it just is loving because it's your nature. It's loving because that's what what you do, but also true unconditional love will bring up all your shit. Guaranteed. If you've been around someone that can love unconditionally, it will bring up all the places you don't, because you're recognizing your true nature through them. Anyway, so it's something to think about this week. Like, where am I being transactional in my relationships? It's obvious in business, we're transactional in business, and almost like unapologetically transactional. But when we get to relationships, we do it really subconsciously. Now, it's for the rest of the week. On Wednesday, Mars is trine the North Node. Really pay attention to, Mars is moving um, towards his detriment. Starting his roll back into Cancer slowly. But trine the North Node, just pay attention to where the universe is giving you hints about where it, like, maybe even like the direction that you fear, the one that will make you uncomfortable. You get some hints, but there's almost a sense of like fearlessness around that coming in the middle of the week. On Thursday, Jupiter will re-enter Mrigashira, which is sitting in Gemini. No, sitting in Taurus. And Mrigashira is a nakshatra, which is all about searching. So you can find that at a deeper spiritual level, it's almost like a quest that you were on last year starts restarting, something that you were looking for within you. Um, Something that there's almost not an answer for that's logical. So just be really aware if you find yourself picking up spiritual books towards the end of this week, or watching a lot of YouTube videos from different masters, or wanting to maybe learn a new spiritual skill. Be really aware that like the answer is not going to lie in like a rational explanation. And Jupiter will be in Mrigashira until the 13th of June. On Saturday, Mars enters Pushya, Nakshatra, and Saturn is making its move into Cancer slowly, so it's entering a place of destabilization. But on the weekend, you might find that there's like that the way you want to direct your life force is more to nurture. And that might be like a weekend where you want to garden, or a weekend where you want to create art. It's really like it's a softer version of Mars where it's more like a feminine energy, or a feminine type of direct energy. So pay attention to that. And then on Sunday, we're going to have the full moon and Venus direct. I'll talk more about that next week. The full moon is at 29 degrees of Virgo in Chitra Nakshatra. It's quite auspicious. It's also going to be the full intensity of Virgo because it's at 29 degrees. So we're really in the world of like looking after your health and well-being. I would be saying this week, if you're already feeling burnt out, really manage your energy this week. And the things that burn us out is often those transactional relationships, like where we agree to something and then we walk away from it and we're like, why did I say yes? It's that type of energy. So really thinking about how you can feed yourself as well as the world. And that feeding can look like a rest. It can look like a little vacation. It might even just be planning a vacation once Mercury is direct. Anyway, more on that next week. If you are interested in working with the Virgo full moon, the ritual and reading is now live. You'll get a reading based on your birth chart so you can understand where it's playing out in your life and what is manifesting. And also quickly mention in 2 weeks' time, myself and Siddhi Shakti will be having the Navagraha planetary mantra and astrology course launch. It'll be a 9-week course. We'll be working with one planet each week, working with the astrology, like the ancient Vedic wisdom about that planet. And Siddhi will be teaching the mantra that goes with it. So you can use this as your own personal spiritual practice, making astrology part of that journey to healing. Have a wonderful week.